Click. Click. Hello everyone, this is Take from bigheadtaco.com and I'm here to shoot a YouTube video. As you saw, I have my iPhone 5S in my hand, which can only mean one thing, that I'm shooting on a different camera. Yes, I have upgraded my camera. So I'm not gonna do as you noticed, there's no unboxing. And as well, I'm not going to go over the Force Touch or 3D Touch. It basically is Force Touch, right? But 3D Touch, any of those features, I'm not gonna go over. I'm focusing, the reason why I upgraded is because of the 4K, not necessarily 4K, but more powerful video option. So now it does 1080p, 60 frames per second, which is great. And also the improved image quality of the front. So I am using the front facing camera. Hopefully you'll see a change and a marked improvement on my Instagram images using this new camera. So look forward to that. We're gonna compare it against the 5S and then see if there's any kind of a drastic change. We are outdoors, bright sunlight. Maybe one of the ways it'll show the difference is really in low lighting situation, but for now we're gonna do that and then we'll see and then we'll compare. But we're gonna get out of the car and run some tests, right? So let's see what happens. All right, we're outside here doing our first video test between the iPhone 5S, which is on this side, and the iPhone 6S, which is on this side. We're a bit in the shade, as well as there's some ambient traffic noise in behind us, and there's wind blowing in from this way. So, I guess the ambient test is not as important as the visual test. So we are shooting at 1080p. Now the iPhone 5S should be at 30 frames per second, and the iPhone 6S is at 60 frames per second. So the big difference there is if you do want to do slow down of half speed, so when you do that, it's nice to have 60 frames per second. So then you can slow down to 30 and now everything's down to half speed. So that's one of the big advantages, but as well we know that there's a bump up in the megapixel count of the sensor on the 6S from 8 to 12. Now is Apple fully utilizing that 12 megapixel sensor when shooting HD video? My guess is they are not, but with the iPhone 5S when they went HD, the image actually did crop in a little bit. You did lose a little bit of your wide angle. So what's happening there is that because of lack of processing power or them not wanting to use the processor as much as they could, they shrink the amount of the usable sensor, so it's processing less information. So we'll see, as we look at the side by side, you'll see the differences, but a lot of it will be in post, where with the 60, again, as I mentioned, the 60 frames per second, you can change the speed, but we'll look at the image quality as well, because I'm not even sure if they upgraded the lens itself from the 5S to the 6S. I don't know. We'll have to check it out. If there is a change or not a change, we'll just put it in notes or something like that. But anyways, this is the test. I'll get closer, and I don't even know what. I'm looking at the 6S, and now I'm looking at the 5S, and now I'm going to try to cross my eyes and look at both, and then I'll back off. And then now we will test the front-facing cameras and see if there's a marked improvement there as well. So let's check that out now. All right, everyone, this is now the front-facing camera test, and funny, the cameras are on either side. So here I'm looking directly at the 6S, and then over here I'm looking at the 5S, and now I'm kind of looking at nothing. But this is a front-facing test. Even now I'm looking at the screen of both the 5S and the 6S. Now part of it could be the screen quality, but as well as the image quality, you know what? Man alive, the 6S looks awesome. Now for the 5S here, I should have checked the specs, but we'll put in the specs down here. The 5S has a lower res front. I think it's maybe a 2 point something or 3 megapixel, but there's definitely an improvement. I can see it right away just looking that definitely the quality of this, and even you can see the washed out highlights on this side of the video. You cannot see the blue skies, and with the 6S you can still see blue skies. So right there you can tell that there's a video quality difference between these two cameras. So front facing camera 6S, can you use it to do your vlog? I think you can. It's pretty good. The biggest thing is a matter of stabilizing the video, being able to either put it on the tripod or having someone with very steady hands to hold the camera for you. But other than that, there you go. See, so steady hands, and that way you could probably use it as a pretty decent a vlogging camera. So that's my front facing selfie, I guess you call it the selfie camera test for video on both the 6S and the 5S. All right, we're indoors now in our studio, and we're gonna do a low light video test again of this is the 6S here, and this is the 5S. My guess is that the 6S is gonna handle low light better, and you're gonna really see the difference in the shadow areas, how it handles the shadows. Now there is a bit of daylight coming in and hitting my face, so my face is probably exposed pretty good. And we'll post a picture of how visually how it should look like in here with the visible eye, and then see how the camera compensates. And as well, because of this low light, it's going to struggle with autofocus as well as auto exposure. So even as I move my hand, and the areas that's black and the areas that's white, now it's being shifted. So both cameras are on auto exposure, autofocus. We'll see how it handles all this kind of movement. Again, only my producer can see the difference. I can't see that there's any difference. Again, the screen quality on the 6S will not only make it look nicer, but as well, maybe if it goes wrong, it looks worse. But again, we won't know until this is finally produced. So my guess is low light, the 6S will do better. But how much better, we don't know. So that's it. And then now we'll do a front-facing camera low light test and see how that looks, right? So let's switch that over right now. All right, now we're doing the front-facing camera test between the 6S here and the 5S. Does it make sense that I'm pointing? I don't know. My producer will figure it out. But anyways, from my view, this is the 6S and this is the 5S. All right, and just looking at the camera here, allow the camera to, it's trying to do face detect and see how well it does it. Visually, the front camera is a little bit harder to tell the image quality than the back because it is a lower resolution. It looks brighter and less yellow on, like brighter, and the white balance looks better on the 5S actually. It looks a little bit yellow on the 6S, but then that could just be how I set up the screen, because I have yet to, and we're talking hour and a half I've had the 6S. I have not even done an iCloud backup or computer backup on it, so it can be just the screen, but the sensor itself will tell the actual story, right? If you can see a marked difference, but it should be, because this is a higher resolution screen. Visually, you can see better than me at this point, but visually, it looks a bit noisier and grainier on the 5S. The 6S seems to be handling the low light, so obviously the ISO has been bumped up, so maybe they're at about ISO 800 perhaps to be able to shoot. And you can even see sort of how slow, you know, you could see there's a bit of, I don't know what it's called, but this, the shutter speed is low, so there's a little bit of a, I know my producer knows the word and he's like whispering it to me, but I can't hear. But anyways, you can see that in low light it's starting to, this is where you use a proper camera, or if we flip the camera around and use the back facing cameras, you will get better image quality, better low noise, perhaps even because the aperture is a bigger aperture, it'll be able to handle low light better. So this is the front-facing camera test, and we will stop. Alright everyone, so this is the end now of the video test on the new iPhone 6S versus the older 5S, and you saw the differences there with your own eyes. So I'm going to just go over quickly some of the notes that I've written down here. First of all, I'd like to apologize for my shaky hands in the car, and even now perhaps there's a little bit of shake. I think I needed camera girl for this one. She's got some pretty steady hands, and as well as my producer, but tech not meant to shoot this way. So I apologize. I'm going to keep this as steady as possible. You saw that there's a huge difference, isn't there, with the 1080p shooting either both front or back with between the iPhone 6S and the 5S in good daylight. You could see that there's a huge difference in sharpness, details, as well as the highlight fall off. You can really see that sort of the detail even on my face where it just kind of goes from normal to, you know, just washed out highlight on the 5S, but the 6S has a nice sort of the tonal gradient that it kind of smoothly goes to the highlights. So that definitely was improved. We didn't test the 4K only because the 5S doesn't have 4K, but we will eventually do just a very quick 4K video test for those that really want to see that. The colors on both the 5S and the 6S, the producer and myself both noted that, you know, Apple does a great job with color. They've got that, just like how Fujifilm has their digital cameras, the color is really good. When it comes to the smartphones, they got the color. The color is very nice, and so that's what we noticed between both the 5S and the 6S. Now, this is where we saw that both a similarity between both the 5S and the 6S is that when it comes to low light, neither did a very good job. Both of them didn't do very good. You're better off having an external light source, a little LED plug-in light, so you can even out the lighting. So we saw outdoors, it's fine. Indoors, under low light, it does not look very good. In terms of audio, it was slight. The 5S has kind of the only way I can explain is maybe kind of a funneling kind of a sound. But the 6S is a bit clearer, but it's very slight. It's not a big deal. So really, for video, our conclusion is that as a vlogging camera, those that just want to grab and go, they don't want to worry about color grading. They don't want to worry about fine-tuning the audio in post. You just want to shoot and then immediately post, because, you know, with smartphones now, even with the apps like YouTube, they allow you to upload right from your smartphone, right? So even if you have a Samsung Galaxy S6 or the LGs or the Motorola's or the Blackberries, whatever you have, you can upload quickly. So this camera, I mean, you saw the image quality, so that's pretty much what you're going to get. And the 6S in good daylight is very good. And so final conclusion is that the 6S is great for video. Let's see now how it does for images, and that'll be, you'll see it on my Instagram. I've already posted my first picture on Instagram using the 6S. You look and you tell me what you think, but we'll do more image testing. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be posting more videos soon on this new camera, so subscribe, like, and we'll keep on shooting videos like this. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Click, click.